equipment than just cleaning your leather. And so I have brought a pad that came off of our obviously very clean horse this morning. If your pad looks like this, it needs to go in the wash. We use a saddle pad for a couple of reasons. We use the saddle pad for one, the comfort of your horse and to absorb any sweat or shock absorbing properties that your saddle might not fit properly or rubbing on the horse's back. So we use a pad, number one, for your horse's comfort, and number two, to help you keep a little bit of the grime and the sweat from the horse to the saddle. This is very dirty, and if you felt it, you could feel that this is very stiff feeling. This is dried sweat. There's mud and dirt and things that evolve up from the dander and the salt from the horse's back. If you are to ride in a dirty saddle pad, then number one, your horse is going to be very prone to getting saddle bumps or dirt bumps or grime on his back. Very uncomfortable, like a little pea underneath your saddle. It also eventually is going to come through the layer of what's in between your two pieces of material to your saddle. We launder these in the washing machine. I don't dry my pads. It depends on what kind of material your saddle pad is made of, and you should always look and see what the manufacturer's advice is for how to clean in each individual pad. This one I'm going to throw in the washing machine, warm water, regular detergent with no smelly things, more for like sensitive skin, not a lot of fragrances that might hurt the horse's back or a horse that is a little bit sensitive to things. So right into the washing machine. Never ever use this as dirty as it is. So this would go in the wash, and this is the exact same pad that we have underneath. And this is what it should look like. And these were actually purchased the exact same time. This one was used this morning. This one came out of the wash this morning. So this is really what it needs to look like. I will use sometimes a spot remover if I've gotten a really dirty saddle pad, or there's a stain from my saddle, or if I'm using one of my show pads and I get a little boot polish or something on my show pad. Any kind, your favorite kind of stain remover that you use, and then rinse thoroughly. So always put in the washer, never using any really harsh chemicals. Occasionally I'll put a little cap full of bleach, but then I do a second rinse cycle on the laundry, so I make sure I never have any chemicals left on my saddle pads that could hurt the horse's back. So very simply, in the washer, I don't dry them, they last longer, they stay, they have their shape fitted better, and they don't shrink. A lot of times when you throw one of these kinds of saddle pads in the dryer, it fit your saddle and horse before, and now you have to go buy a new one because they've shrunk up so much. We've had that a lot happen, so we don't dry them anymore. So I'm going to get rid of these, and I'm going to talk about girths. We already talked about cleaning the actual leather of the girth, but this came off my horse this morning. It's a fleece. It's a sheepskin fleece, so it's a natural material, so the inside is actually the leather. And you can see there is part of the arena on the outside of the saddle of the girth cover. And on the inside, it's looking a little bit dark, it's looking a little bit matted, and there's some sweat in there. The problem with washing this every time you ride to keep it perfectly clean is that the leather will get too dried out and it will fall apart. So I'm going to show you how to clean it in between your washings. So Melissa, let's start with the outside first. We have a quite stiff brush, not a brush I would use on my horse. It's made out of like a corn fiber. And go to it. You're going to just brush like you're brushing your horse. You're going to brush all of the arena dirt off onto the tack room floor, which we'll sweep later. And you can see that it starts to get a little fluffier, and it starts to bring it back to life a little bit. And we will do that on the other side as well. It'll be a little bit more difficult on the other side. But you want to try and separate these fibers of the sheepskin. So you bring all the dirt up to the surface with this, and then we might use a less stiff brush to flip the rest of it off. But you can see that this will help it dry, and this will bring all of the pieces of the sheepskin back up into a fluffy, more malleable feel, so that when you put it back on the mare tomorrow, she doesn't have a clump of sweat underneath her belly. And you know how sensitive she is. She won't like it. So this would be maybe one more day before I thought that I might want to wash this, because you can see it's starting to get matted. But if you brushed it for a little bit longer, you would be able to pull that up to be able to use it. But how do we wash these? This is a little bit like washing your leather breeches, okay? You need something in the washing water that has emollients that helps keep the leather of either your leather breeches or the leather of your fleeces from getting cracked. So a little bit of Murphy's oil soap, because it has the soap and it has the oil, will help you keep the leather under your sheepskin. I also use Woolite. That uses the same kind of product. It's a more gentle soap than the Murphy's oil soap. And this is also another product that you can use on your breeches or on your mattis pads and your fleece pads. It's called Paper Day, but it's very expensive. So if I have a pair of show breeches that need to last me forever and ever, I might use some of this. But on a daily basis, or if I'm washing this once a week, I might just go and use a little bit more of the Murphy's oil type soap. Then we would never put these in the dryer for very long. I will put these in the dryer for about 3 to 5 minutes to help you fluff up the fleece with like a dryer sheet, thank you, that helps keep all the fibers separated and gives it a little bit more fluff to it. And I'll do the same with my mattis pads, okay? So this also came off the horse. We would probably not wash this one, but before you put it on the horse, you would take your brush and you would brush all of these little pieces of shavings off. But if it got really wet or really matted, then I would put it in the washing machine, again with some kind of soap product that helped with the fat content of the actual leather. Now you can't see that this one has leather in it because there's material on the top, and then you have the fleece, but in between is a layer of sheepskin, like here. On the inside, you can feel that it's actually the skin, and then the fleece is on the outside. So that has to be kept moisturized. And Melissa, just pull that off for me. No, pull the fleece off. Excuse me. If I take this out of the washer and I let it sun dry and it's really brittle, excuse me, I would take some of my grease or my conditioner in my hand and run my arm up through that and just let it work itself out. So I think that just about covers it. Jane, do you have anything else?
No, I think that's awesome. I think we covered hair, saddles and bridles and pads from A to Z.
I think so too.